lopsided bun, Carrie? Listen.
Hey, where's
my lopsided bun.
Hey, y'all.
Listen, sometimes it be like that, okay?
It be like that sometimes. Listen. Yeah. You still cute, though.
You still cute.
Right now, sis, okay?
Listen. You still cute,
my
though,
necklace
sis.
is all lopsided, child.
Lopsided bun.
Happy Friday, y'all. What's up,
Happy
everybody?
Happy Friday,
What's up, Gwen?
honey.
Woo! How is everybody feeling this beautiful Friday?
Listen. Oh, what's up, Steffi? Steffi understands my bun love.
Listen.
Come on,
top knot.
How's everybody today? Y'all, I'm telling y'all, Facebook does not want me to be great with these watch parties.
I try every time.
I almost feel like they got rid of it or something because I don't even see it anymore.
I just have to like share it, right?
Yeah, y'all just go ahead, come into the space and hit that share button. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because Facebook be doing what they want.
We hope y'all are sitting on something amazing.
Right, girl. I wish I had something amazing today because my ass needs a drink.
Girl.
I had something amazing.
We know you do.
I got. Well, because I want to share. So recently, I was able to work with a local brewing company called Fiction Beer, and in collaboration with a nonprofit called The Word. So big shout out to Vinianka for inviting me to this. But I was able to write a poem and put it on their bear can. I was able to name the beer. It's called Phased Brew. Yeah. It's a mole milk stout, and I got my poem. Here on the side.
Hey, girl!
Awesome.
So I'm going. Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers and congrats to you.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. It was fun.
Years from now, you need to keep one of those bottles. Years from now, we will put it in the Smithsonian, darling.
Yes. Hey, Smithsonian. We'll put it in the Black Girl Museum.
In the Black Girl Museum, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's really dope. I have not heard about that. That's really dope.
Oh, they doing some dope shit. So, cheers, fam. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, in spirit.
Right.
I am rocking my loud brown round girl.
Yes.
Hey.
Gigi.
Thank you, Gigi, for the mug. And I am drinking some CBD infused tea, sis, because this Friday got a sister feeling like, the struggle is real, but I got my little tea and I'm doing all right. So amen and hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes.
They need to figure out how to put things through the screen and hand it to the other side.
Girl.
Right? We gonna get there.
Yeah,
we gonna get there.
But Nick, I'll give you a sip of my tea and your ass be leaning to the side.
Right.
I don't even know why you
ain't lying. You ain't lying. Listen, them little tinctures. I like
the tincture.
Tinctures be hitting in another type of way, ma'am. You be like, I don't feel nothing. What is this? Well, welcome everybody to the Sip, another episode. So happy to be here. Good to see everybody. Yes. We hope y'all had a great week. And if we have any of our listeners, watchers from Texas, we are sending you all the love.
Yes, all the love.
Drop us a line if you're in Texas. If you need anything, please let us know.
For real.
It's crazy.
It don't make no goddamn sense. None.
Doesn't. My heart breaks for them folks. It breaks. But, we're going to have a great show today. So gear up. I hope y'all got a drink. And let's get started. First and foremost, we have to shout out our new patron for the week. None other than my dope sister, Camille. She's on here now. And we have officially added to that level, that $25 tier, a monthly Zoom. So for the month of March, we will be doing a Zoom cocktail hour for the $25 tiered folks. So if you're watching and you want to be a part, come on and join the sip, ladies. And also we have merch. The t-shirts have come in. So I am hyped that we are going to be, offering t-shirts for y'all in the very, very near future. So head over to your to your podcast platform of choice. Please rate us. We've been getting some good ratings. Please rate us. Please share. Please go to our YouTube and subscribe and all the things. And
all the things.
Yeah, let's get started with the show.
Hey, I'm gonna drop all them links in the chat right now, y'all. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you visit that Patreon. Let's do the damn thing.
Yes.
Also, who doesn't want a Zoom call with us? I'm sorry, because we're fabulous. So, no. Sign up on
you want to. You want to.
I'm trying to keep it a little bit cute on Fridays, but on a Zoom call, honey, all bets are off.
Anything goes.
Anything goes. So if y'all trying to get down with the get down, go ahead and subscribe, sis. You will not regret it.
And I don't know if y'all saw our Black Future Month celebration that we put on our page, but the way we get down off the show is like next level. So you definitely will be doing a Zoom call with us. So
right.
We don't know how to act.
What's up, Kenny? What's up, Okay? What's up, sis? Hey, everybody.
What's up, sisters?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yes, yes.
I do want to let people just briefly know that, I don't know if everybody who watches knows that I'm a musician, but I am a violinist and I'm having a show tonight. So I'll drop the Zoom link in the chat. And if you want to check out some free music in about 2 hours, I go live at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Check me out. It's a free show. You home, you in quarantine still. Get to a drinking, listen to some bar music, okay?
Listen, and you need to hear the Monique Brooks Roberts if you have not yet, okay? But for real though, because ain't nobody on this planet play that violin like you. Nobody.
Let's just say,
no one.
So
check her out.
Oh. Yes. I was just going to say, let's just say one quick thing. When we did our taping, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
We were standing there and the man asked Monique to play some notes just to get the vibe, like get the sound levels. And everybody in the room, like literally took a breath at her first note, like just when she started playing.
Girl.
That's all it takes. It's literally all it takes.
Oh, I love y'all. Y'all just love me. But
we love you, but we tell you the truth. Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And listen, you're only as great as the people you are around. So the fact that I even get to share the stage with y'all and be in spaces with y'all, it makes the whole journey worth it. So we got more stuff coming up. Each of us are going to have individual announcements, and we will definitely be sure to let the people know. Let's get into the Sisters in Power for the week. Raj, who you got this week?
Listen, I got a couple of y'all. I had so many Sisters in Power that I had to take half my list and put it to next week. So I'm just gonna do 4 ladies this time. But first and foremost, we could not let the week pass. Yesterday would have been her 90th birthday. My Sister in Power, Toni Morrison. When I tell y'all, I remember reading Beloved, and it was the first book that I ever got chills up my arms. Like literally, just we miss her. We love her. She is our ancestor. We have so many ancestors that we gained over the last 2 years. So I just could not miss not mentioning her this week. My second one is, I don't know if you guys are on Instagram and you follow this page. I just found out about it. Well, I had been following it, but I found out who runs it. It's called Black and Missing Foundation. It's a group of folks on Instagram. And what they do is they post about missing Black people, missing brown people. And they started this page because they felt like the word wasn't getting out about missing people in our community. And they have been able to find so many people from social media. Well, I did not know that this group was run by 2 women and 2 sisters. And their names are Natalie and Derica Wilson. And they just got honored for their work. But if you get a chance, go to Black and Missing Foundation on Instagram. they just do incredible work. And I just think it's so, you know, we remember growing up in the community where you knew all of your neighbors down the street. You know, if a child was missing, everybody would come together and would find them. And so to see that kind of action happening on social media for our children and our people is just amazing. So I had to shout them out. And last but not least, the greatest of all time, I don't care whether she won an award, won her match this week or not, is Serena Williams. Listen, Serena Williams gave this post recently apologizing to her fans about not winning her last tennis match. And someone was like, sis, if you don't never win another doggone match in your life, you are still the greatest of all time. Yeah, we support our sisters when they win, but I just want to uplift them even when they don't. They are still phenomenal. She is still a champion. She is still amazing. And so she is my third sister in power of this week. We love you, Serena, and may you always be celebrated for the great, the GOAT that you are. So
absolutely.
Yes. Facts.
Super
facts. Cheers to that.
Here's to that.
Yeah. Okay, right. Which
Word. I love it. Do you have anybody you want to celebrate this week, Carrie?
Yeah. Can I have a bip? Can I have a brother in power? Is that just for today? Just for today. Because I just want to give a big shout out to my big bro, Ryan Landell. I'm wearing his line Beautiful right now. It went live on Thursday of this week. So Black is beautiful all day, every day. Be beautiful. Listen, he's doing big things. And so I just wanted to give him some love. I'm going to drop that link as well. Make sure you check that out and support.
Listen, Beautiful, you know, is a line that is all about celebrating the hue in you. It is high quality. If you guys have seen the pictures that we all have been posting this week on our page, it's not just about celebrating who you are as Black people, but it's also about having premium quality sweats and clothing that you can wear. And it's for us and by us. And listen, we always talk about how we want companies to create incredible clothing for us. Here it is, y'all. Buy it, support the brother.
That's right.
New line. And I ain't saying that just because he's my boo, but you know.
No, it is absolutely incredible. Like the quality, y'all. Is like, I have never felt quality of clothes like this. It's and the designs and his creative brain, like he's a genius. Shout out to you, Ryan. You are big for the week.
You for the week. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. So I didn't have a specific one today. When Rod showed me those sisters doing the work for the Black women, I was like, that's mine too. So, you know, but shout out to all Black women, okay?
All Black women.
We be killing it. So if you're a Black woman, you're watching this, shout out to you. You are Sister in Power for the week, okay? Exactly. You are a sister. Pat on the back.
And if
unless you voted for Trump.
People that you want, right? Unless you voted for Trump. Okay, let's not.
Sorry, I just wanted to make this clarify real quick.
Honey,
I'm done.
Where the popcorn at today? Where is popcorn?
I got Raisinets because I ran out of popcorn, so I got. Shout out to Nestle. Kind of shout out.
Still a snack, honey. She got her Raisinets today.
No, but for real, and also if you guys have sisters in powers that you want to nominate or that y'all want us to shout out or mention, let us know. Oh, I think Meek got frozen, but she'll be back in a second, y'all. But if you have sisters in powers, oh, there she goes. There you go, sis. Let us know. Put them in the comments. You can always send us a message at hey@thesippodcast.com. Is that right, Carrie?
Hey girl at thesippodcast.com. No, we almost there.
Send us a message, child. You know how to get in touch. Anyway.
I want to shout out a few people before we get into these, you know who. Hey, Kenya. Hey, Jafoki. Hey, Kenny. Thank y'all for watching with us tonight. We hope y'all ladies are doing great. So who want to start the BAN, bitch?
Okay, I'll do a silly one first. I'll do a silly one first because this one is my existence and I keep meaning to mention it all the time. And as a musician too, it really just grinds my gears. So my BAN of the week is companies with bad hold music. And the reason I say that is because this week I had to call my mortgage company and sis, I was on the phone. I was on hold for 45 minutes listening to the same bad song over and over again. There's nothing worse as a musician, not only to be on hold listening to the same song, but listen to a bad jazz song. It just like I wanted to climb the walls after 20 minutes, let alone 45. So that's my simple BAN of the week. Companies, it's 2021. I need y'all to do better.
Right.
Talk to your local musicians.
Just hire Raj. Hire Raj.
Right.
You know
right.
I can make you some soothing la-di-da.
Right.
La-di-da.
And your customers won't be wanting to curse you out by the time you come back. So
give me something better than that. Because there's like a specific one that a lot of companies use. And I'd be like, oh, y'all got this one too? Like, everybody just passed the same one around. I'm like, whoever made this song was making some coin, okay? Because this old raggedy song.
Whack ass song.
Would it be the Casio keyboard with the dee-doo? I'll be like,
yes, the Casio,
not the Casio. Oh man.
They need to call Joe up there and be like, come on, girl.
Girl, exactly. Girl, Jay will get you together, okay? Listen.
Lord.
That's a
good BAN.
That's y'all know who my BAN is. I actually have two. I'm gonna keep it real short. Ted Cruz, because you're really a non-factor, bro. You really a non-factor at this point. You a non-factor. You know, you can go ahead and do what Rush Limbaugh did, okay? Because I'm petty.
Exit.
Also, Carrie, you trash, and for all you Republicans in Texas who voted for that man, he left y'all hanging in the dust with your roof collapse.
Exactly. That's what happens.
Don't say nothing now. I don't want to hear nothing.
Right.
We tried to tell you.
We tried to tell y'all he was a BAN since day one. Yeah. He a non-factor at this point. I don't got no words left for him. My second BAN is this pastor in Detroit, y'all. A fight broke out at a church in Detroit, y'all. A whole fight, and
child, I could not believe.
Honey,
what happened?
Oh, I froze.
There you go. No, there you go.
Okay, Bishop Wayne T. Jackson is the wealthy pastor of a church in the middle of the hood in Detroit who drives a Rolls Royce. He apparently asked people to line up and pay $1,000, which I grew up in a church that used to do that mess too, which is trash. Honey, some man was in the congregation and he was like, not on today.
Not having it. Not during this damn global pandemic. What the hell you,
honey,
sir?
When I tell you, this man was on the news, you know, had to hide the wife, had your kids, man. This man was on the news like, I don't regret it, and I do it again. Because I'm not. But he was preaching a whole word.
I need to see this.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you.
I need to see this.
He was preaching an entire word. He was like, you don't care nothing about this community, and you asking these community members who are poor, when you live in $1 million house, to line up and give you $1,000.
I'm surprised they didn't.
You should be lining up to give them $1,000.
You should be lining up to get.
You know what I'm saying?
The you spend on Rose Royce could have helped the community. Like, but this brother, there was a brawl in the church. Like, y'all have to see it. But this bishop, I did some research on him. He is a BAN. He sat down with Trump, told all his members to vote for Trump. Like, I was like, sir, I'm glad you almost got knocked out in your own church on Sunday. You a BAN. I'm done. Drop the mic. Who you got, Carrie?
To find out who this is.
I'm sick of people. I told Raj earlier.
I'm just here.
I'm starting to hate people. I really am.
Girl. Yeah.
Because the earth is ghetto.
Girl, we need to get her on the show.
We need to get her on the show.
We need
you on the show.
Yeah.
Carrie,
you
if anybody know her, gotta cut. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta make it happen. Or somebody who knows her, listen, reach out.
We should do a cover of her song together.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Joe Folk, you know everybody. We should do a cover of her song together, and then be like, "Hey, you should come on our show."
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sorry. Can we just? I just need a moment.
I ain't got no BANs.
Jay's comment about the Yanni-esque recorder sounding joint. Yeah, girl, that's exactly what the whole music be sounding like. Woo, work my nerve.
Yanni. She said Yanni. You said Yanni.
I mean, I do love Yanni though, but not every day, not for 45 minutes.
Not for 45 minutes.
But it be like that's why she said the Yanni-esque, honey. It's the broke down version of Yanni, honey. It's not Yanni.
Right, exactly.
Oh man. You got somebody?
Yeah.
I'm just here for the comments. Let's see.
Okay.
Well, can I just say one thing? Like, I don't be talking all the time, but can I just say about what you said, Nick, for your BANs and Ted Cruz in Texas and all this? I gotta say to y'all, I am just stunned this week. Like, I just don't know what else needs to happen in our country, in our world, for people to wake up. Like, it's like in any other universe, people who follow Trump would have lost their minds a long time ago. They would have stopped. They would have seen the light a long time ago. January 6th, they would have seen the light. The impeachment trial, they would have seen the light. The Republicans would have done the right thing. They just keep on doing stuff. And I feel like the universe or God is like, here's another message. Here's another message.
Here's another message.
And people still just are not paying attention to it. And for Ted Cruz to do that, like, he's a de facto, like you said, he's a de facto BAN just on GP. But like, how do you guys not look at these people and say, this is wrong? I have no power in my house. This man does not care. And the policies that people vote for, they do not care about me, about my family, about anybody around me. How can I continue to just keep spewing these lies? It's right. Delusion on a level that makes me speechless. So that's all I've got to say. It's just a sobering fact. I'm really sorry for my family in Texas. I'm really sorry that people are suffering through this right now. But damn, and it's like the Republicans, you wanted to be away from the U.S. so much that you didn't want to be a part of the power grid, that you're willing to risk people dying, man. Like,
people dying. People dying.
I'm stunned. So, yeah.
Girl.
Power concedes nothing without demand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
that's true. That's true. There will always be followers of the madness. Always.
So I'm gonna need we got to get it together as a people, and we have to know that we deserve better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to actually understand that in order for us to like seek it out and demand it and make sure that we're building a world and a future where we're able to get everything that we need. But until we've been so conditioned to not understand our worth as a people that we just think that this is how it's supposed to be. And I'm just like, no. You know what I'm saying? And that's not me speaking for everybody, but I'm just saying, like, as like the masses to a very large extent, we need to unlearn a lot of the bullshit that we learned and recognize who we are, what we deserve, and demand better.
Yes.
But we got to get there.
You know, when I was saying to Ryan the other day, I've never seen a time when we should be living in relative peace, right? Like, we've got the pandemic going on, and everything should be calm. Like, countries weren't really trying to fight each other. Everybody's trying to stay alive, whatever. But our infighting, the way that, we still want to stick to these different corners and battle, it's like making up a war that doesn't exist. And not that it doesn't exist, but Abby, what you were saying about evil versus good always, it's like, but does it always have to be that way? Does it have to be evil versus good? I don't know. My heart is just like, I'm stuck right now.
You want better, right?
Yeah, I want better
so bad.
Yeah.
That you're just stunned that it can't happen because for us, it feels like common sense.
Right.
But it's not, unfortunately. It's not.
So I'm gonna shut up. That's all man. Get it together.
Amen. Amen, Raj. Amen. Right.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Whew.
Well, are we ready?
Yes.
I'm doing the work. So,
right.
Facts. Empower.
Yes.
I'm so excited to introduce my friend, the homegirl, and like fellow activists out here really fighting in these streets to demand better for our people, for us as just as humanity. And so I'm just going to read her bio real quick. Katie Leonard is a Denver native and a local community organizer for equity and justice. In 2017, she received her BA in African American Studies with a concentration in music and art history from Harvard College. She works at the University of Colorado, Denver College of Arts and Media as a special advisor to the dean and holds a position on the university-wide strategic planning team. She's a co-facilitator co-facilitator of the City of Denver's Reimagining Policing and Public Task Force, and a co-chair of the ATMA Task Force to dismantle racism in the music scene. In regular life, she's a regular person that loves exploring anything and everything outside. She loves coffee, champagne, all things art, people, dogs, and planet Earth. So please welcome to the SIP, our sister in power, Katie Leonard. Come on, girl. Hey. What's up, sis? What's up? How you doing?
I'm all right. I just need some toast. If anyone has single male friends, female friends, they friends that can cook.
Hey.
Katie is single and ready to mingle, y'all. Okay.
Eat some food that isn't toast. So
right?
You don't like to cook?
You don't like to cook, Katie?
Oh, sorry, you froze. No.
I'm with you, girl.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Like, no.
It's like, no.
Right.
Absolutely. No, I like to eat food, but why would I cook for 40 minutes to eat for like 10? And I eat fast, so it's probably like 5, 6.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
The cost benefit analysis. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's not. Yes, understood. Understood. Well, thank you so much, sis, for gracing us with your presence tonight. Just want to like really tell the people who you are, what you do. But before we do that, I have a couple questions. First of all, what you sipping on?
Actually, so this is gross. I'm just looking like a bachelor out here, but I have some cider, but also some coffee. So
listen.
Coffee cider.
Yeah, it's gross. I'm really with you.
Right. Live your best life. Live your best life, sis. So we always. Oh, my bad, love.
Are you good?
What'd you say? Oh. So we always do a question of the day as well. And it's a surprise, so I'm gonna start off with the question of the day. Okay. What? And this is for everybody. What do you tell yourself when you don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning?
Good job. I just say, bitch, get out of bed. Because
don't get your ass up. Got paid. He's there.
Let's get it cracking.
Honey, I don't have to tell myself nothing because I have 2 children that will tell me to get up.
Super facts. Super facts.
Who gonna feed me breakfast?
Yeah.
You said your dog, Katie?
Yeah, my dog is not kids, obviously. That I'm not sure about the whole kids thing. So I can barely handle a dog that's like, not about it.
Right. Understood. So the dog wakes you up. I got you. Same as Raj. I'm like, listen, got shits to do, got bills to pay, and just get your ass up. I want to hear from everybody else, so throw it in the chat. When you can't get up in the morning, and you just like, listen, I don't know how today's gonna go. What are the things that you tell yourself? Okay. Encourage us.
Every morning these days, because it's like you're stuck in the house, but you still got to get up and do stuff, and it's like, why can't I just
do
stay
things?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
Super facts. Okay. I bet. So we gonna go ahead and jump into the interview just so we could tell the world more about who Katie is. So I'm gonna actually pass it off to you, Katie, for the first couple questions. Like, who is Katie Leonard?
Mm-hmm. Dang, I'm asking myself that same question. I am an organizer, I think, first and foremost. So Denver native, that's also super important to me. Especially as like the city has continued to grow. There are good things that come with that, but I'm just sort of like unafraid to call out our local government and different businesses and entities for like gross human rights injustices, because that's happening like everywhere. So I'm like very passionate about things that social justice issues, things that need to change. I'm an abolitionist, and I'm a pleasure activist, and I am a facilitator of transformative justice. And I try to do that like in my work, but also in my everyday life, because like it's important to think about how a lot of these movements and things can start to feel really lopsided or bad. And a lot of times the wheels fall off when we're not like practicing the same things that we want to see in the outside world, like with ourselves and like with our loved ones. So that's super important to me. And I'm just I love to explore. I'm a Colorado girl, so I love the outdoors and hiking and sports. I'm an ex-athlete, so I like to move my body. So yeah.
Word. Okay. And real quick, because I feel like a lot of people don't know what a pleasure activist is. And big shout out to Adrienne Marie Brown. You know what I'm saying? You wrote it down. I didn't mean to steal your question, Raj. I'm sorry. But I haven't read the book yet. I have read Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown, but I know of the book Pleasure Activism, and just curious to know, like, what is pleasure activism?
Yeah, so it's the work that we do within movements and also just in BIPOC communities, in queer communities, to reclaim our whole happy, satisfiable selves from, the delusion and limitation and oppression of supremacy of all kinds. And like really at the end of the day, pleasure activism is us learning how to make justice and liberation, like our movements, the most pleasurable experiences that we can have, because in reality, like that's the only way to get it done, because we're not truly liberated if we're over here, trying to abolish the police, for example, but also like having some weird like grind culture mentality every single day that's going to wear ourselves down. And like when we're policing ourselves, how are we supposed to abolish policing in the world, right? So it's really learning how to like reclaim yourself. And I think it's really important for Black women too, because we just do so much labor all the freaking time. And like for me, I think like a pleasure activist like answer to sometimes when you don't want to get out of bed in the morning is like, if you can not get out of bed, then goddamn, don't do it. Like, get yourself some ice cream.
Don't get out of bed. Amen. No, those are facts right there.
Right? If you can do that, like rest. Like rest is resistance, especially as like in marginalized groups. So I'm like super into that. And when people are, I used to be super strict and like very regimented because I was an athlete and I'm like naturally pretty type A. But I'm so anti grind culture, anti that now. Because I know that if I get somewhere, like, cool, I can probably get wherever I want to go. And a lot of Black women can, because we just have that motivation, that that magic in us. If we get there and we're like torn down and worn, like, and tired, then what's the point, right? Are you really liberated?
Right.
Yeah.
Super. Are you really liberated? Super facts. Super facts. Right? I got a few more questions. I was gonna pause real quick and see if the girls had anything they wanted to insert.
No, go ahead.
The only thing I will say, the only thing I will say, this is very interesting, the pleasure activism thing, because I've always, people that I know who have always worked in activism, they're just like, I feel like a slave to the work, that they can't rest their minds. They just feel really intense all the time. So I love that that's a very intentional thing that you're doing within that space to create balance for you. I love that. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Those are super facts. Super facts. Okay. So, you talk about a lot of your social justice work, and really creating a better world for all of us, right? And so I wanted to ask about how you are actively creating a new world and a better world. And I feel like, there's a lot of people in this space, especially like some of the people that have been in this policy making space a lot lately. A lot of Black women, a lot of brown women that are really like not just rising to the occasion, because we always have, but now have this opportunity, that we've always deserved, to really decide what our future is going to look like. And it takes a super artistic lens, you know what I mean? To like imagine what the future could look like. So tell me a little bit more about how you show up creatively in the world to build a better world for all of us.
Yeah, so I think there's both like what I do artistically to try and like increase liberation and justice and equity, and then sort of like the frameworks that I like give talks and workshops about, because that's a huge part of like what I do day to day, is like working with folks to teach them how art and why art in this movement for social justice. And it really begins with kind of an abstract idea, but not so abstract when you like put it into practice. And that is that and this is another idea that, I mean, Grace Lee Boggs and Adrienne Marie Brown and even Angela Davis and Miriam Kaba say a lot is, and Jason Reynolds and all these folks, Ibram X. Kendi, talk a lot about how organizing for social justice is an imagination battle. Mm-hmm. And how in this culture, right, that's extremely nihilistic and capitalistic and, you know, colonized and all those things, our brains are like hardwired in a way where it's like really easy for us to imagine the end of the world. Like there are so many books about it, so many movies about it, right? Like we're like, it's simple. We're hardwired for catastrophe, and why is it so hard for us to imagine a better world, right? It's so scary to like, it's like impossible. And I get that question all the time. And I'm sure you do as well, Carrie. It's like, well, how are you going to do that? Like, how on earth? Like, oh, cool, good idea. But how on earth are you going to do that? Right? Mm-hmm. Well, you can imagine like the billion ways that the world's going to end, but you can't imagine a better future. So we're in an imagination battle, right? And a lot of people seem to like relegate this idea of imagination to like, it's childish, it's unimportant, right? We're all about like the data and the numbers and things. But like everything around us is literally conjured up. Like a chair, before it was a chair, it was in someone's mind in ancient Egypt, and it actually wasn't even a functional thing then. It was literally an artistic stage to put someone on, their pharaohs on this like chair thing. And now it's just chairs, right? Our laws, our buildings, the way it all comes from in our brains, right? Mm-hmm. So what is like the first sort of like the seedlings that come from our brains, we call that like creativity, right? We call that art. So art is that main mechanism. Like a chair started out as art, right? Something as foundational as that. Mm-hmm. So really like art and creativity is everything, right? Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite directions that Adrienne Marie Brown goes in is that like, this is science fiction. Because if you talk to someone in even like 1905 and you told them, yeah, there are going to be self-driving cars and Black and brown folks who are seen as fully human, that's a science fictional idea. Wow. Right? Wow. So that's why sci-fi is a huge thing that I love to talk about. And I love talking about like sci-fi movies and art. Like Lovecraft Country is like one of my favorite things to bring into lectures and stuff. But yeah, I mean, art is the key. Like creativity is the key to everything, to new futures and new worlds.
Amen.
That was a whole word.
A whole word. Bless us today, Katie.
Can I just say, like, you in 2 minutes, you made me feel hopeful, and I have not felt that in a long time. I really appreciate that, because when you were talking about people not being imaginative, my thought was, well, that's because I feel like people have succumbed to the idea of the worst in human nature. It's like, well, that's the only option there is the worst instead of the best. How do you keep your optimism? Like, how do you, even especially if you're doing this work, and I know you're doing this balance, but how do you keep your optimism in the face of, it seems like everything is getting worse every day, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So I'd say first and foremost, like spaces like this with like Black, y'all just come together and like you're joking and laughing and making people laugh. And like, so this is where I recharge. This, like spaces like this is how I stay hopeful, really. Like my grandma, I go and I sit with my grandma who was born she's 91, right? So she's seen it all, right? From Mississippi. And she gives me hope. Like Black joy gives me hope. Humor, talking shit, like that's a testament. Like that is a testament. We are embodying protest. Like just seeing a Black person existing, and even like we always find a way to like make it funny, make it enjoyable, like reach our hands out and touch each other. Like that to me is what gives me hope, because like if we made it this far, oh hell, like we got this shit. Like I don't know. Like I think one of my favorite historical like pieces of historical context is before. So imagine like, and this isn't to say, well, imagine like what our ancestors went through. This is just a beautiful sort of like example of like a thing that we're also going through right now, is like in Africa, when people were actually being taken captive, they were prisoners of war, right? Way back, like at the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. And then they're like being loaded onto these ships. And before there was any like understanding of what was on the other side, like there was literally the unknown. Like you're walking into the unknown. You have no idea what is slavery, what is race. Like you've just existed as a human, right? And there's extreme terror, because there are also these like, you know, there's folklore about what happens when you like go on the boat, what happened, like this looming sense. And I can't imagine like the sense of dread, right, in that time. And the reaction of like our ancestors in that case was to braid seeds into their hair. That was a widespread practice, right? So in the face of terror and like this unimaginable thing that actually was probably even worse than anything they could have imagined, they braided seeds into their hair, right? Because they're thinking, how are we gonna sustain? How are we gonna? To me, that's Blackness. Like that's every time y'all laugh and like joke and you do this SIP podcast and you get together and y'all like, that's braiding seeds into your hair. Like that's the practice, right? So like that's where we are.
I need a minute for I'm start crying.
Right? Listen.
Us, Katie. Teach us.
Teach us. Super facts. Oh man.
But you have that foresight too, right? That future thought that like I'm gonna see this into my child, or I'm gonna at least if I have to be separated from my baby, this is what I'm gonna do. The ingenuity of Black women to do those kinds of things in that manner. And how we're doing that, girl. Yes.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah, that's our lineage. That's our lineage. Just saying.
Facts. Go ahead, Mo.
So I have a question for you, Katie. So you said that, you know, folks can only imagine the worst. What does your world look like to imagine the best, to imagine the hope? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'd say on a community level, because I'm really focused on like critical connections. That's a huge piece of emergent strategy. Because we're so focused on like critical mass in capitalism. It's like, how much can we produce?
Right.
Like more and more and more. So I envision a critically connected community where folks have food, access to food, and access to clean water and fresh air, are able to be outdoors, are connected with their family, whatever structure that may come in, right? That we don't have like loved ones that are in cages. I imagine a world where we are prioritizing safety, which has way more to do with basic human rights and human needs, like having a roof over our heads, and having like the resources to survive, having a job, right, a source of income, or perhaps like you don't even need to be productive for your life to be valued, right? Productive for a capitalist system, because there are societies where like you can live and like make art, and maybe that is productive, right? It's not making anyone money, anyone other than yourself, maybe. So a society that values the arts, and values human life just because, not because of what it can produce for someone else. That's it. It's an abolitionist future for sure. But it's like everything I just said is so like basic, right? I'm not talking about like buying carpets and stuff. It's just like,
right.
You know, in a lot of ways, like that's a reality. Like I was talking about sci-fi. It's like we're living like the multiverse right now, right? Because like that's some people's reality. They have clean air and fresh water and a source of income and things to do every day, and none of their family is in the carceral state or the criminal punishment system, right? That's some people's reality. So all I'm asking is that's like for everybody. And I believe that there is enough, and I know that there is enough. The issue is not that we live in this scarcity economy, which is what we're fed all the time. If there's not enough to go around, though, the reality is that there's plenty. There's more than enough.
Right.
Just being hoarded by certain folks.
Right.
Honey. Super facts.
A word.
Did you have something, Roger? Look like you had a question.
You know, I was trying to think if I was going to ask it now or wait, but you mentioned that you're an abolitionist, and I wanted to know, what is the one thing you want to abolish the most? Like, what would be the first thing that you think to get to this place that we can get to? What's the one thing you want to abolish the most?
I would say I like to focus on what I like abolition as building more than like removing. However, like those are both pieces. So I would say a two-part thing, policing, because that is like the contact point for the criminal punishment system and the prison industrial complex. And that's, I mean, it causes so many other problems, right? It's at the nexus of like unhoused like folks and food scarcity and drug use and all these different things. So that to me is like a key place, and that'd probably be that. And then building infrastructure and like mutual aid networks and like supportive life affirming institutions for folks that take the budget and the place of policing that bolsters a sense of security, but does nothing to spread safety. It's like safety is so different from what people are taught it is in our communities. And I would also say the military industrial complex as well. So like I would like abolish the military pretty much. Like I would, that doesn't mean like, change a lot of things, but that's another thing that like sort of scoops up a lot of our Black and brown family in the United States, because it provides like income and like maybe even a chance to travel and an education and like how weird is that like you're feeding yourself into this like war machine for like simple things that you should have access to no matter what, right? Like that's the other piece that I would go after if I was all powerful.
Girl, the facts on facts on facts. Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason I joined the military, man. I joined because I wanted a free education. And, I was in college and I was struggling to like stay in college, and it didn't make any damn sense because knowledge is free. And this is why I tell all of my students now, like, don't let anybody force you to pay to go to no fucking school. Knowledge is free. Dude. That should be accessible to everybody. And there is enough money out there. Somebody will pay for your damn education until we can figure it out as a society. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that access is there. But no, I feel you 100%, Katie. And like, especially like when we're right. No, go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I was just saying like the fact like paying for education and like this crazy myth that we have, it's wild. Like I was listening to something the other day where it's like because that's one of the biggest feeders into like the debt economy, or you just live your whole life like in debt. Right. Like to the man or whatever. And it's just something like $72 trillion worldwide of debt that like could just be forgiven. Like, what's the point of that? It's literal wage slavery. Like you're beholden to someone.
Right. Yeah.
Literal.
Honey.
Absolutely.
And I was just
go
ahead.
Just kind of, go ahead.
No, go Carrie.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, like, there were some beautiful things that you were saying earlier, Katie, and it reminded me of some work that we were doing together earlier, right? Like, we were talking about safety, and the understanding of what safety is. Like, I always love to remind people, like, yo, if someone's hungry, they're unsafe because you need food to survive. If somebody doesn't have clean air, they're unsafe because you need to be able to breathe clean air to survive. There should be no reason why Black and brown communities have the highest rates of asthma and fucking diabetes and cancer. You know what I'm saying? That is unsafe. You know what I mean? And if we're not addressing that, then our public safety department is doing nothing but oppressing us. You know what I mean? And criminalizing our survival. And that is why we worked really, really hard on like the peacekeeping department that we wanted to make a reality out here in Denver. And we're still finding different ways to make, different pieces of it very real. But talk about the peacekeeping department and like what that was to you and what it could still be.
Yeah, that was like my lifeline. We talk about like looking for hope and being inspired every day. For the majority of like last summer, working with Carrie, with you and Rue and like community members on this peacekeeping bill was giving me hope, because that's essentially a very simple step to make a very simple human rights crisis disappear quickly in our own community, right? It was this like quick way to build a new world, a new future here. And it obviously was really scary to people, like people didn't understand it. But it is like pretty simple, like as simple as it could have been. It was like, hey, let's take all of this $250 million that is going to police department that isn't equipped to do 90% of their job, 90%, right? And let's use that money and like do that 90% of their job correctly, and like adequately, right? Like super simple. And like you said, there's still pieces of it that like we're working on, like making real in other ways and in other arenas through this the city of Denver reimagining policing and public safety. Like a lot of the things that are coming out of that organically, right? This isn't just like a couple of people's idea. It's like a framework for the future that a lot of folks are really bought into. So a lot of these same ideas are going to come out, I think, of the task force, which is exciting. And then it's just finding ways to be unapologetic and unyielding and like radical, which just means going to the root, right? We don't pull weeds at the top, like never have, doesn't work, in order to like get justice. And so I have hope that like these things can still happen. It is just there's a lot of spider webs and a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of fear mongering, right? It'll take time. It's accepting that sometimes movement is slow. It's still movement.
Yeah.
What did Ryan say? Slow hustle better than no hustle.
Yeah.
Facts. Super facts. We still doing the damn thing. I mean, and and to be honest with you, like I feel like the local administration was really, really afraid of our bill because they knew it could pass. Like I think that like there was a fear of losing power, and a lot of times, like kind of speaking to what you were talking about earlier, Raj, and how people tend to align with power before they align with things that really honor their humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make any damn sense, but this is where we are as a people. And so I'm really, really excited to see like the work that we will continue to do. And I wanted to ask you, Katie, real quick, if there are people out there that are trying to figure out like what could they do at a local level to make things happen in their city, like what's a good place to start? But
yeah, I would say a couple things. One would be like research either like DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, like they have chapters everywhere, and they have an abolitionist focus in a lot of places. So like seek out organizations like that who are interested in DSA, because I think the main part of this work is like building connections and like with people, right? Because you can't do it on your own. So like finding folks, and if there's no like local abolitionist group or like socialist thinking group or leftist, right? I would like use social media, like try and connect. That would be the first bit, and also like do research, because it's really as simple as like, and it's not always simple, but it should be, as like your city charter. That's where all of this lives. In the documents. And a lot of people are like scared of that or like intimidated. But honestly, like it's just some paper with words, and they're not even that confusing really in a lot of ways. Some parts are, yeah, but like reach out to your your city council people's job is to demystify all this stuff. And like maybe we should clone Carrie Joy and like just
if they won't do it, you know, maybe their wife will do it. You know, Shane. We are. Big shout out to Ruth for her and her vision with that, though.
Yes. So I would say like link and build and research and be unafraid. Like don't ever say like, who am I to be doing this? Like you don't need credentials to do any of these things. Like they're all publicly accessible, like for a reason. Like community is community. Like you should be able to have some say in how you're living, how you're, you know, like I just do it. Like it's a little scary at first, but do it. Like,
JDI, just do it. Facts. This is your government, and you should be able to participate and design what it should look like for all of us. Like super facts. So thank you so much, Katie. We're gonna ask you some quick rapid fire questions so we could go ahead and close the show with that. But real quick, let's see. You ready?
Yes. It might be hard, but yeah.
You got this. Okay. What is your least favorite type of music?
Screamo or country.
Okay. I don't know. I was about to ask. Screamo? What does that mean?
Screamo?
You don't need to know, but like look it up.
Okay.
People listen to it.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Good to know. Okay. What would you say is your best feature?
My hair.
Hey, come through
right now.
The tresses. If you could teleport, where would you go and why?
So my initial thought was New Zealand, because I have family there and COVID isn't real there, and like it's actually not real. Like it's not just like Florida, not real. And yeah, and it's beautiful and warm.
Okay, word. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
Oh, like a 2. I'm like really nerdy.
Yeah. That's what makes you so damn cool.
I'm a weirdo. Yeah, no.
You like a 15. Sweet or savory grits?
Savory. Yeah. Cheese.
Okay. I see that face, Mo. The judgment.
I don't put sugar in my grits. I grandma thinks I'm weird.
We're gonna let it slide. What's your favorite cocktail to sip on?
Gin and tonic.
Hey, okay. I see you. That's serious. Put some hair on my chest.
You know.
This is a versus question. You know versus. Big shout out to them. Monica or Brandy?
Monica.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Hands down.
Wish you. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, probably a dog, because you get fed and you get walk, like, but only if I had good owners, and you get to sleep like all day, and dogs stay finding the light. Like if you ever see, like, it's like, oh my god, my dog's so light skinned. He's just like in the window, his eyes like shining like hazel.
Right. I always said in my next, like, I want to come back as a dog that belongs to a chef, a really good chef.
Ooh, yeah, you
Okay.
got the leftovers.
That's specific, but awesome. Yes.
I'm just saying. And it's the last one: sunrise or sunsets.
Sunrise.
Yeah. Okay, all right. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life.
Can I ask one bonus question?
Yes.
Only because I'm curious as a Denverite, because you're a native, and I should have asked Jay this. What is your favorite outdoor place to go in Denver? I want to know, like, where to go. Like, what's your favorite?
Like to recreate?
Yeah.
In Denver proper?
Well, no, it could be in Colorado. Like your favorite.
Okay. So I love El Dorado State Park when it's not crowded. It's really cool. It's gorgeous. And I like I'm trying to think. So I grew up part-time in Breckenridge when I was younger. So there's just like some beautiful, there's a hike called Twin Lakes, and it's so beautiful up there too. So I'd say, yeah, Breckenridge. And then Lyons, Colorado is also beautiful. Just plug that. It's close too.
All right.
Listen,
El Dorado.
people might have issues in those places, but we need to reclaim Breckenridge, Aspen, all them places.
Yeah, I'm big on like getting outside and getting Black and brown folks outside because, like, it feels so nice. Like, right, for the mental health. You don't have to do anything crazy. You could just
be there.
Yeah, right. Just be.
Yeah. Super fast. Super fast. Katie, thank you so much. You are our sister in power this week. Thank you for blessing us with all the things. You dropped so many gems. And so I'm going to go ahead and be sure to drop your Instagram for the people. Please follow your girl. She be breaking shit down for us. And continue to follow us. We'll see y'all next week. We have Dr. Lisa Calderon coming on next week. And we want to make sure that you guys are able to hear all of her wisdom and her knowledge. Follow us on our Instagram, the _podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube page and hit us up on Patreon. That's all we got. Until next time, we love you guys. Bye.